"No one beats Logan." That's what they said, until she did it in 14 seconds flat, in front of the whole gym, on live stream. And that's when the world started asking, who is she? 3 days earlier, no one was asking who she was, because no one was looking. Kiana Brooks sat alone in her car across the street from Pinnacle Jiu-Jitsu Academy, watching students trickle inside. Her hoodie was black, her sweatpants plain. Nothing about her appearance screamed competitor. But that was the point. This gym had a reputation, not for excellence, but for attitude. The kind that boasted more about followers than fundamentals. Coach Dale Whitmore ran it like a personal brand. All aesthetics, no accountability. His star student, Logan Reynolds, wasn't just undefeated. He was untouchable. Beloved by fans, feared by classmates, and protected by a wall of egos. Kiana wasn't here to be seen. She was here to see for herself. She stepped out of her car and crossed the lot. Her hand brushed the scar above her brow, a silent ritual before stepping into any unknown. Inside, the front desk was manned by Troy Miller, barely 22 and already full of the arrogance you could only learn from a place like this. He didn't look up. "Waivers are online," he muttered. "I'd like to sign up for a trial." Now he looked. Then he smirked. His eyes scanned her head to toe. Hoodie, no makeup, no visible muscle. Black. "You sure you're in the right place?" "I am," she said calmly. Troy slid a clipboard across the counter without making eye contact. "Coach will decide if you're a good fit." As she filled out the form, she could feel it. That familiar tension when you enter a space that wasn't built with you in mind. The whispers, the side glances, the dismissals. Name, Kiana Brooks. Emergency contact, none. When she stepped onto the mat, the air shifted. Conversations paused. Men in G's turned to stare. A few chuckled. One of them muttered, "Lost, sweetheart?" She didn't respond. She stood still, calm, like she had nowhere else to be. Coach Whitmore emerged from the back, wide stance, black belt cinched tight around a thick waist. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Well, well," he said loudly. "New face on the mat. You ever trained before?" "Some," Kiana replied. He repeated the word like a joke. "Some? Huh? Well, let's see what some means." He looked around. "Troy, show our guest the basics." Troy rolled his eyes, but obeyed. "Lucky me," he muttered under his breath. The first drill was guard passing. Troy shoved into position with unnecessary force, digging his elbow into her thigh like he wanted to prove something. She let him. When it was her turn, she moved clean, fluid, efficient. Not flashy, just correct. He grunted. Beginner's luck. The rest of the class went on. Burpees, sprawls, partner drills. No one picked her unless instructed. At one point, a brown belt refused to pair with her, saying he needed a real match. And then Logan arrived. 6 feet of muscle and swagger. No gi, just tight rash guard and ego. The room shifted around him. He high-fived his way across the mat, then stopped cold when he saw her. "You let her train?" he asked Coach. "Or is it bring your daughter to roll day?" Laughter erupted. Coach smirked. "Says she's trained, some?" Logan's eyes narrowed. "Well, don't go easy on her. Wouldn't want to give her the wrong idea." By the time class ended, Kiana was drenched in sweat but breathing steady. A timid white belt named Cody handed her an ice pack. "For your shoulder, Troy was rough." Kiana nodded, silent. "They don't say it," Cody added, voice low. "But they don't like outsiders here, especially if you're different." Kiana didn't respond. But she noticed the whiteboard near the wall. Top 20 students, all men. As she left, she heard the locker room conversation echo down the hall. She won't last a week, but she's just here for content. Have you seen her ass, though? At home, Kiana opened a small wooden box under her bed. Inside was a military belt with an embroidered insignia, classified, and next to it, a photo. Her and her brother, both in desert fatigues. Same smile, same eyes. She ran her finger along the edge. "Not here to play," she whispered. 3 days before challenge night, she showed up early. No one greeted her. She rolled alone. Her technique flowed, invisible but undeniable. Rachel Whitmore, coach's niece, watched from across the room. Their eyes met for a second. Rachel looked away. That night, posters went up. Friday night, Queen Slayer returns. Underneath, a sketch of a woman face down on a mat. At home, Kiana sat cross-legged, candle burning, the photo beside her. The scar above her brow caught the light. Friday was coming, and they still didn't know who she was. Wednesday morning, the hallway outside the mat smelled like bleach and sweat. Kiana entered as usual, early, quiet, unnoticed. Her hoodie still black, her eyes sharper than ever. But something had changed. The whiteboard by the door now had a red marker note at the bottom. Challenge night, Friday, 8 p.m. Logan versus a question mark where her name should have been. That afternoon, Coach Whitmore called a team meeting. "Friday night, we test the ranks," he announced, standing tall in the middle of the mat. "Logan will face a new challenger. 1 round, no time limit, submission only." Gasps, whispers. Cody looked up from tying his belt. Kiana stayed still. Coach's eyes landed on her. "Miss Brooks has been showing up, trying hard. Let's see what she's really made of." Logan grinned from the other end of the room. "My pleasure." The match was official, but the fight had already begun. That evening, the posters appeared, printed in black and red. Queen Slayer returns. 14 seconds to glory. A crude sketch of a woman, clearly meant to be Kiana, flat on her back, eyes closed, tongue out. Someone taped it above her locker. The next morning, her gi was missing, folded neatly just the day before, now gone. In its place, a stained rental gi 2 sizes too big. Cody found it tossed behind a bench, smelling of sweat and dust. "Troy's doing," he muttered. Kiana said nothing. She took the rental gi and rolled anyway. By Thursday, the atmosphere had turned. Whispers weren't whispers anymore. They were open taunts. "Hope she enjoys her last class. Think she'll cry before or after. Maybe she's here for content. Make it viral when she gets wrecked." Even Rachel, who'd mostly stayed quiet, pulled Kiana aside. "My uncle's playing a game," she said. "He wants to humiliate you in front of everyone." "That's the point." Kiana raised an eyebrow. "Logan doesn't fight clean," Rachel added. "And my uncle doesn't stop him. Last year, a guy tapped too slow. Logan popped his shoulder and laughed about it. No consequences." Kiana nodded once. Noted. That night, Kiana sat alone in the locker room. A single overhead bulb hummed above. In her hand was her old military belt, the one with the blacked-out unit patch. She traced the stitches. 2 years ago, they told her he was dead. Her brother. Her mirror. No body, no ceremony. Just a name on a file and a voice that said, "We regret to inform you." But 3 weeks ago, an image had arrived. An encrypted email from an address she didn't recognize. A grainy surveillance photo. A man walking through a market in Mosul. Wearing civilian clothes. Scar on his left wrist. Her brother's scar. She didn't come to this gym for Jiu-Jitsu. She came for confirmation. And now everyone wanted a show. Let them watch. Friday morning, Troy replaced her water bottle with one spiked with muscle relaxants. Cody intercepted it before Kiana arrived. "Don't drink this," he said, handing her a new one. "It smells off." Cody pulled out his phone. "Also, I've been recording everything. Group chats, locker room talk. I've got it all." Kiana looked at him. "Why?" He hesitated. "Because people like them have been getting away with it for too long. And you remind me it doesn't have to stay that way." She gave the smallest nod. That was enough. 7:53 p.m. The mat was spotless, the lights dimmed, a single spotlight over center mat. The gym was packed. Students, friends, strangers. Phones out, cameras rolling. Live stream already pushing 3,000 views. Coach Whitmore wore a black polo with the Pinnacle logo across his chest. He stepped onto the mat like a ringmaster. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "welcome to Challenge Night." Cheers, applause. He gestured, representing Pinnacle Jiu-Jitsu, undefeated, Logan Reynolds. Logan entered, shirtless, smirking. His custom rash guard read Queen Slayer across the chest. He flexed for the cameras. "And our challenger," Coach continued, voice almost sarcastic, "the ever-dedicated Miss Brooks." Scattered claps, mostly silence. Kiana stepped out, her movements calm, unhurried. No flash, no smile, her gi plain tied with a fraying white belt. Rachel stood near the back, arms crossed. Cody held up his phone, already live. Logan whispered something to Coach before stepping forward. Then, loud enough for the crowd, 14 seconds, sweetheart. Let's make it quick." Coach stepped back. "Begin." The room vibrated with anticipation. Logan began circling her immediately, bouncing on the balls of his feet, jaw clenched like he was already counting down to victory. Kiana remained still, centered. Her breathing slow, her hands relaxed. "Let's go!" someone shouted. Logan lunged forward for a double-leg takedown. Hard, fast, sloppy. But Kiana didn't move back. She sprawled. Clean, precise, absorbing his weight and redirecting it. The impact was subtle, but the shift in control was immediate. Her left arm laced under his neck. Her right hand gripped his wrist. She rotated. Smooth, silent, like a machine built for one function. Triangle choke. Locked. Deep. Logan flailed, one arm trapped, his face pressed into her thigh, his legs kicking out of instinct, not strategy. His hand slapped against her leg, fast, desperate. The crowd gasped. The room went still. Kiana released. Logan rolled away, coughing, eyes wide in disbelief. Coach Whitmore stepped forward, stunned. "She caught you off guard," he said, too quickly. "Let's reset. Let's make it fair." Kiana shrugged. "Fine." This time, Logan didn't smile. His face twisted with something darker. Rage. They squared off again. Now he was cautious. He feinted. Faked low came high, tried to snap down. Kiana didn't bite. She moved with him, mirrored him, let him show his playbook. Then she struck. She shifted into guard, pulled him in and flipped her hips. He tried to muscle out, but her timing was surgical. She isolated his arm, locked it, extended. Armbar, tight, perfect. He tapped. Twice, then screamed. Coach froze. The room exploded. Phones were up, cameras rolling. Rachel's hands trembled. Cody mouthed, "Holy shoot." And Kiana stood, calm, barely breathing hard. Logan stayed down. "I got it all," Cody whispered, showing his phone. Every second, every angle. Coach Whitmore finally moved. Fluke. Both times. She's got some training, sure, but this isn't real jiu-jitsu. Not what we do here. Rachel stepped forward. You're right. It's not what you do. Because what she just did was art. Murmurs. Some clapped. A few nodded. Someone shouted, "Run it back!" Kiana turned to Coach. That was the deal. Win and I stay. Coach's mouth tightened. You've proved your point. That doesn't make you one of us. No, she said. It does. She walked off the mat. Logan still hadn't stood. Troy hovered behind the crowd, pale, silent. In the back, Cody uploaded the video. No edits, no filters. Title, 14 seconds, twice. Within minutes, it hit 10,000 views. Then 50,000. By midnight, it was over 100,000. By the next morning, the world knew what Pinnacle had tried to bury, and who they'd tried to humiliate. The clip hit 500,000 views in under 10 hours. Titled 14 seconds, twice. Cody's upload didn't just show technique. It exposed arrogance, bias, and the collapse of a myth. Logan Reynolds, the undefeated golden boy of Pinnacle, had been dismantled in front of everyone. By a woman they'd mocked, minimized, and tried to break. The internet did not hold back. That choke was surgical. Who is she? This wasn't jiu-jitsu. This was demolition with grace. Beth Triangle looked military. Within a day, combat sports forums picked it up. Coaches from other gyms started analyzing her movement frame by frame. A YouTube channel titled Real Grappling Truth uploaded a reaction video with slow-motion overlays. That's not casual training, the host said. That's Black Ops level control. Someone commented, she fights like she's been teaching the people who teach the people who fight. That night, a new email landed in Kiana's inbox. Anonymous sender, no subject. Just an image, a surveillance shot. A man, thin, tired, but unmistakable, walking through a dusty market. Civilian clothes. Head down, but the scar on his left wrist glinted in the sunlight. Her brother, alive. The timestamp? 6 months after his official death. Her fingers tightened around her phone. She wasn't supposed to be visible. That's why she used a fake last name. That's why she wore cheap sweats. That's why she trained in silence. But now, she'd gone viral. And someone high up, wanted her to know. They were watching. She was no longer in control of the narrative. Saturday morning, the gym was unusually quiet. Coach Whitmore was out sick. Logan? Not seen since Friday night. Rumors swirled that he'd smashed a mirror in the locker room after the loss, screamed at staff, trashed the front desk. Some said he'd been suspended. Others said he'd quit. Rachel met Kiana by the water cooler. My uncle's panicking, she whispered. He's calling lawyers, trying to claim the match was unsanctioned. Kiana didn't flinch. There's more, Rachel added, glancing around. A retired Special Forces guy commented on one of the videos. Said, he recognized you. Said your code name was Spectre. Kiana's jaw didn't move, but her pulse ticked louder in her ears. I looked it up, Rachel continued. There's nothing official, but there's chatter. Ghost units, deep black ops, training programs that don't exist on paper. Kiana stayed silent. Then her phone buzzed. New message. Check your car. She froze. Outside, Cody was waiting near her vehicle. I didn't touch it, he said quickly. But someone smashed the driver's window, left a note. He handed her a piece of folded paper, shaking slightly. It read in blocky capitals, You're not supposed to be alive. Kiana scanned the parking lot. Cameras, blind angles, the feeling in her spine, familiar. Like before a breach. Before a burn mission. Not Logan, not Coach. This was above them. She didn't speak. She simply opened her trunk, grabbed a duffel bag, and handed Cody a phone. Text this number. Say Protocol Ember Light has been compromised. Cody blinked. What does that mean? It means, she said, I'm done hiding. 2 hours later, a black SUV pulled up outside Pinnacle. No plates, no markings. An older man with a hard jaw and salt and pepper hair stepped out. Kiana met him by the back door. You shouldn't have surfaced, he said. I didn't mean to. Well, he exhaled. Spectre, you just woke the dead. He handed her a tablet. Satellite images. One of them showed a compound in the Middle East. Guard towers. Sand-colored walls. The same place her brother had been seen. Table A, Hot 9, Dublin. He's alive, the man confirmed, but he's not free. Please send me the photo. We didn't. Kiana narrowed her eyes. Someone inside the old system wants you back in, he said. Or wants you dead trying. She looked down at the tablet, then back at the man. I'm not going back in. Then you'd better be ready for them to come out. By Sunday, Cody's video had reached over 2 million views. News outlets began reaching out. MMA influencers did full breakdowns of the match. Hashtags like 14 seconds, Matt14, and Spectre is real started trending. Whitmore Gym became a ghost town. Posters were ripped down, students left en masse. Brands pulled sponsorships. One of the national Jiu-Jitsu federations announced an investigation into toxic culture and unsafe training environments. Coach tried to release a statement blaming viral manipulation and internet bullying. No one bought it. Rachel released her own post, an open letter on Instagram. I watched my uncle build a gym on fear and fake bravado. But on Friday night, I saw real technique, real control, real composure. Not from the man we were told to follow, but from the woman he tried to erase. This is what Jiu-Jitsu is supposed to be. It hit a nerve. Within hours, the community began resharing it with the caption, Let's build Matt14 for real this time. Monday morning, the sign outside Pinnacle had been stripped down to its bolts, the logo gone, the glass windows smudged, the mat inside untouched. But Kiana showed up anyway. She stood in the center of the empty mat, her gi folded neatly in her hands. No crowd, no cameras, just silence. Then Rachel walked in. Behind her, Cody, then 4 others, then 12. No one spoke. Kiana placed her gi at the center of the mat, set her white belt on top. I'm not here to prove anything, she said quietly. I've done that already. I'm here to make sure no one else has to. Rachel stepped forward. We've got 6 months left on the lease. I'm taking over the paperwork. Cody added, and the Instagram handle, Matt14, is now official. Laughter broke the tension. They got to work. The walls were scrubbed. The toxic slogans and fight posters were torn down. In their place, they painted 3 words in white block letters. Skill, respect, community. 2 weeks later, Matt14 opened with its first class. It was small, but real. Women, kids, men who'd walked away from gyms just like Pinnacle, people who had watched Kiana's video and decided maybe, just maybe, there was a place for them on the mat. Kiana didn't teach. She rolled quietly. But when a teenager stumbled through his first drill, she kneeled beside him. Breathe here, she whispered, placing a hand on his back. And bridge when they pressure you. Don't resist. Redirect. He nodded. Tried again. Succeeded. Rachel watched from the edge, arms crossed, eyes full. Outside the gym, the world was still catching up. Coach Whitmore was being investigated by 2 different athletic commissions, one for ethics violations, the other for falsified rankings and harassment complaints. His sponsors had pulled out. His instructors had resigned. He released a half-hearted apology video on YouTube, turned off the comments after 17 minutes. Logan resurfaced 2 weeks later, filming himself training alone in a garage. He challenged Kiana to a rematch on camera. 5 minutes, points, real jiu-jitsu, no surprises. She never responded. Instead, she posted a single photo, a close-up of her hand gripping a training belt. Caption: "I don't fight for pride. I fight to protect the mat." One night after class, Cody found Kiana alone in the locker room. "You're still thinking about him," he said softly. She nodded. "I don't know how you keep all this together." "I don't," she said. "I just keep showing up." He hesitated. "You could have blown everything up, named names, burned them all down." "I thought about it," she admitted. "But then I remembered, if I want the culture to change, it's not enough to destroy. I have to rebuild." That weekend, they hosted a free self-defense seminar for women in the neighborhood. Rachel taught basics. Cody taught situational drills. Kiana demonstrated calm escapes from dangerous positions. But it wasn't what they taught, it was who showed up. A young woman who'd quit Pinnacle months before walked in. She said nothing, just rolled out a mat. Then another, then another. By the end of the day, over 20 women had stepped onto the floor. None of them asked who was in charge. They just followed the silence. Followed Kiana. On the far wall, a framed print now hung above the whiteboard. A screenshot. 14 o'clock on the dot. Logan's hand mid-air, tapping. Kiana's face, unbothered, focused. Beneath it, a plaque. She didn't come to win. She came to change the rules. A month after Challenge Night, the city held its annual Jiu-Jitsu Invitational. Not a tournament, just an open mat where instructors could showcase technique, values, and community. Mat 14 was invited. Kiana said no, not out of bitterness, but because it wasn't her place to stand in the spotlight. She'd had hers. Now it was time for others to step forward. So Rachel went. Cody went. The teens Kiana had helped, those who once thought jiu-jitsu was only for men, only for winners, they rolled with confidence, calm, respectful, focused. And in the final exhibition, the host announced a surprise. A special guest. Not a speech, not a match. A moment. On the screen above the mat, a video began to play. The original, 14 seconds. But this time, it didn't end with Logan tapping, then kept going. Clips stitched together. Kiana teaching in silence, adjusting stances, helping kids breathe through pressure, holding space for people who'd been made to feel small. Then came the faces, students who stayed because of her, women who returned because of her, instructors who left toxic gyms and joined the Mat 14 project. And finally, a quote typed across the screen. "You don't have to shout to be powerful. You just have to stand where they told you not to." The crowd stood in quiet applause. That night, someone painted a mural outside the Mat 14 building. It wasn't flashy, just a silhouette of a woman sitting cross-legged, calm, her hand extended to help someone up. No name, no rank, just a single number across the back of her gi, 14. Kiana saw it the next morning. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply reached into her duffel bag, pulled out her belt, and tied it around her waist. Just once. Just tight enough. Then she opened the door and let the next class in.